There is a thing Americans spend $219 a month on without realizing it. They think the number is 86. That gap, that $133 hallucination per month, is not stupidity. It is a design feature. And by the time we get to number 7 on this list, you are going to understand exactly who benefits from that confusion, and it is not you. I have been doing this long enough to notice a pattern. The things that quietly drain your money in 2026 are not the obvious stuff. Nobody is surprised that timeshares are a bad idea. What surprises people is finding out they rebuilt the exact same trap they escaped in a different box with a different logo, streaming in 4K. Let's get into it. The central metaphor I want you to hold on to throughout this entire video is the leaky bucket. You have a bucket, money goes in, and you have been told to focus all your energy on increasing the flow of water going in. More income, better job, side hustle, dividend stocks. Nobody hands you the bucket and says, hey, count the holes first, because the people selling you the holes do not want you counting. Every time I come back to a number that shocks you, I want you to think, that is another hole. The leaky bucket. Every section, every number. Remember that. Here is what I am going to show you today. 13 categories of spending that used to make financial sense and now in 2026 have crossed the line from acceptable into genuinely irrational. Not because you are bad at math, because the math changed, the market changed, the products changed, and the psychological machinery being used to sell these things has gotten significantly more sophisticated. So the rational thing to do is update your priors. In a few minutes, I am going to get to the one on this list that makes most people defensive, because it involves something they bought to feel secure. But first, let me start with something that should be embarrassing by now. An estimated 67% of gym memberships go unused or are rarely used. 67%, 2 out of every 3. Americans waste approximately $1.3 billion annually on unused gym memberships. That is a billion with a B every year, going to a building most members never walk into. The average monthly gym membership was $69 in 2024. Half of new members quit within the first 6 months. So the business model of a gym, and they know this is not a secret. Most gyms actually profit when members stop showing up. They oversell memberships knowing only a fraction will attend regularly. Let me say that again because it is worth letting land. The gym makes more money when you stop going. Your guilt is the revenue model. The leaky bucket has a gym logo on it. The fix here is not to cancel your gym membership and feel virtuous about it. The fix is to do the math before January 2nd. Approximately 12% of new gym signups occur in January, driven primarily by New Year's resolutions. A notable decline in attendance occurs during the summer months, with enrollments dropping by about 15%. The pattern is identical every year. Gyms have modeled it out. They are waiting for you. Moving on. Number 2 is one that retailers have turned into an art form. Many analysts estimate that less than 20 cents of every dollar spent on extended warranties gets paid out in claims. Less than 20 cents on the dollar. You think this is insurance? It is not insurance. Retailers prey on our loss aversion tendencies to sell these policies. Most consumers worry more about having a product break or fail than they do about the cost of a replacement or repairs. Here is a real number from a real filing. Among large retailers, only Lowe's provides insight. In its 2024 annual report, it disclosed $1.268 billion in deferred revenue from protection plan sales, with $561 million of that revenue recognized as sales. Compare those earnings against the $210 million it paid in claims, and that means Lowe's paid out only about 16.6% of what it took in to fix or replace items for customers who bought protection plans. 16.6%. Their total profit from extended warranties, more than 60%. And you thought you were getting peace of mind. You were actually funding a 60% margin product while a salesperson who gets a commission pushed it on you at the checkout screen. Sales staff often receive commissions for warranty sales, creating incentives to emphasize unlikely failure scenarios and downplay the cost of the warranty relative to potential repair expenses. Here is the psychology at work. A Stanford University study found that consumers may overpay for extended warranties because they overestimate the likelihood that a product will need a repair. That is the hole in your bucket, not the product breaking, the fear that it will break. There is one exception worth mentioning, because nuance matters. Items under $200 rarely justify extended coverage. If the product fails after the factory warranty expires, replacement often costs less than the cost of the warranty, plus potential deductibles or service fees. For expensive electronics over $1,000 with known failure rates, run the math. For the $70 coffee maker at Target, walk away. Also, and this one is free, check to see whether you already have extended coverage through a credit card. If you bought the product using a credit card, check to see whether the card issuer extends the warranty. Many do for a period of 1 year or more. You might already have the coverage and not know it. Stay with me, because this next category involves something that people genuinely think they already solved, and they did not. As of 2025, approximately 68.7 million US households still subscribe to cable TV, down significantly from 105 million in 2010. And yes, cord cutting is real. For the full year, 2025, Comcast shed 1.15 million TV subscribers. The company is now losing roughly 3,500 TV customers every single day. That is a collapse. And you probably already cut cable and felt smart about it. Here's the problem. American households, on average, spent $69 per month in 2025 on streaming video services, the same as they did the year prior, according to a study by Deloitte. The average consumer has 4 paid streaming video services. Most people actively use only 2 of them in any given month. The rest sit idle, quietly charging your card while you scroll past them on your TV's home screen, wondering what to watch tonight. You think the problem was cable, but actually the problem was paying for content you do not consume. And you rebuilt the exact same problem in a streaming stack. Same hole, new bucket. At nearly $80 per month, the average streaming household is paying more than what a basic cable package cost just a decade ago. We've come full circle. The average basic cable bill in 2019 was about $85 a month. You cut cable to save money. You are now paying almost the same amount for the privilege of having more things to scroll through without watching. A household subscribing to Netflix, Disney+, HBO Max, Hulu, and Peacock at ad-free rates spends approximately $93 per month, comparable to cable once streaming prices are factored in. Add a live TV service for sports, and you are at $150 to $165 a month. The fix is rotation. Subscribe to one platform, binge what you came for, cancel, move on. This is not radical. Subscription rotation works especially well with Max, which tends to release its biggest shows in concentrated windows. Subscribe for 2 months when a major HBO series is airing. Binge the back catalog, then cancel until the next premiere wave. By the way, hit subscribe if you like the content. Otherwise, YouTube's algorithm may never show you my videos again. Number 4. This is the one that will make some of you defensive. There's a story I keep coming back to. A guy buys a $50,000 truck, drives it off the lot. The truck is immediately worth about $40,000. He did not crash it. He did not spill coffee on the interior. He just drove away. Edmunds reports average first-year depreciation of about 23.5% of MSRP across vehicles. Cars often shed close to 60% of their purchase price within the first 5 years. So on a $50,000 vehicle, and in 2025, the average new car price leapt to $50,000. You are absorbing roughly $30,000 of depreciation in 5 years. That is $6,000 a year, $500 a month, silently. No invoice, no line item, just gone. A 2 to 3 year old vehicle has already absorbed 30 to 40% depreciation, but typically still has remaining warranty coverage and years of reliable service ahead most of the new car experience at a significant discount. The previous owner paid the luxury tax of being first. You do not have to. Now here is something people do not connect. You drive a regular car, not a sports car or a performance vehicle. You fill it with premium gas, because it sounds better, more premium. Premium equals more betterer, right? Premium costs 50 to 80 cents more per gallon, but provides no MPG benefit in 84% of vehicles. The Department of Energy says it plainly. In most cases, using a higher octane gasoline than your owner's manual recommends offers absolutely no benefit. According to AAA's national average gas prices, as of February 20th, 2026, the difference between regular and premium gas was about 87 cents per gallon. If you fill up a 15-gallon tank, that is $13 wasted per fill-up. Fill up twice a month, that is $312 a year on nothing, on literally zero benefit for your specific engine. Consumer Reports ran tests on vehicles where the owner's manuals indicated that drivers might notice a decrease in performance on regular gas. Their test results said otherwise. The TLX and Maxima's 0 to 60 mile acceleration times were identical on regular and premium gas. The exception is real. If your manual says required, not recommended, fill with premium. But if it says recommended, regular is fine. Check your manual. That is the entire advice. Number 6 on this list is one of the most psychologically engineered purchases ever designed. There's a man named Frank, a composite of a type I encounter regularly, who attended a free vacation presentation in Orlando. He and his wife sat through 90 minutes of slides, got a free hotel stay, and walked out owning a $25,000 timeshare. The salesperson told him it was a real estate investment, that it would appreciate, that he could sell it if he needed to. As maintenance fees soar, in 2026, thousands of timeshare owners are looking to sell their properties, only to discover a harsh reality. Their timeshare has virtually zero resale value. The timeshare resale market has collapsed due to oversupply, low demand, and widespread scams. Most timeshares hold little to no resale value, like a car. They depreciate immediately after purchase, and it gets worse. According to the FBI, approximately 6,000 Americans reported losses of almost $300 million between 2019 and 2023 related to timeshare fraud schemes in Mexico. The people running these scams are, in some cases, literally the Mexican drug cartels. For the last 13 years, the cartels have targeted American owners of Mexican timeshares through call centers in Mexico manned by English-speaking cartel members. The timeshare itself loses money. The exit from the timeshare costs money. And the scam targeting people trying to exit the timeshare costs even more money. It is a 3-layer hole in the bucket. Timeshare owners face ongoing financial burdens, maintenance fees, taxes, club dues, and special assessments. Developers now rent prime units to the public, often cheaper than what owners pay. Meaning, you could book a hotel in the same resort for less than the annual maintenance fee on a week you already own. Let me be direct about what is happening psychologically here. The timeshare industry sells the feeling of belonging, the feeling of a place that is yours. And that feeling is very real and very expensive. The math has never supported it. Airbnb has made the math even worse. The timeshare industry alone is expected to surpass $12.7 billion globally in 2025. That money is coming from somewhere. It is coming from people who believed the free vacation had no strings. Number 7, food delivery apps. I'm going to give you one number and let it do the work. Ordering food through delivery apps like DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub can increase the cost of a $12 meal to more than $20, an 80% markup, according to research from LendingTree. 80%. About 40% of Americans say they're ordering food delivery once a week or more, said Matt Schultz from LendingTree. While fast food restaurants like McDonald's and Chick-fil-A are traditionally seen as relatively inexpensive places to eat, it can cost $15 to $20 to get a $10 meal delivered instead of purchasing it in store. The fees on a basic $9.85 Chick-fil-A order increase the cost by anywhere from 71% on Uber Eats to 134% on Grubhub. 134%. You are paying more than double for cold fries. $300 per month in delivery savings invested over 30 years equals $441,000. That is not a metaphor. That is compounding. The The hole in your bucket has an opportunity cost attached to it. Now here is the part that rarely gets said. It is not that food delivery is always bad. It is that most people using it 3 times a week have not done that math. They have abstracted it. It is $7 here, $12 there. The app is designed to make the friction of paying as low as possible. Tap, tap, order placed. The psychological sleight of hand is real. Most consumers worry more about having a product break or fail than they do about the cost of a replacement or repairs. Apply to food. Most consumers feel the hunger now and do not feel the money leaving until the monthly statement. Here's something I need to pause on because it connects to a broader point about the financial system that most people never see clearly. We have spent this entire video talking about individual purchases, gym memberships, extended warranties, food delivery. But there is a layer underneath all of this that matters more. What you do with the money you stop wasting. Because saving $90 a month by canceling a gym you do not use is not wealth building. Saving $90 a month and investing it systematically, that is a different game entirely. I have spent the last 2 years writing something I think fills a gap that actually exists. The problem most people have is not a lack of information about individual purchases. They can Google extended warranties. The actual gap is between knowing a number and having a framework that turns that number into a decision about when and how to stop working. The standard answer from the financial industry is max your 401k and wait until 65. That is the default. The problem with defaults is that they are designed for the median person, and the median outcome in American retirement is not pretty. The 4% withdrawal rule, the idea that you can safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio annually without running out of money, has a real ceiling problem that almost nobody in a YouTube video will tell you about because it does not fit in a thumbnail. I built a framework around 50 years of actual retirement data, not opinion, not vibes, and distilled it into a book called The Exit Code. 8 chapters of analysis, no filler. The part that consistently surprises people who read it is what I call the $14,000 invisible bill. The insurance gap that hits Americans who exit the workforce before 65 and find out what healthcare actually costs without an employer covering the premium. That number can reshape an entire retirement plan. The book also covers the 4% trap and a dynamic withdrawal method that adjusts based on sequence of returns risk, the thing that can wreck a portfolio even when the average return looks fine. And there's a chapter on a bridge strategy for Social Security timing that lets you wait until 70 when benefits are about 32% higher without going broke in the gap years. The math in this book turns maybe someday I'll retire into a specific date. You can get it for less than a dinner out through the link in the description below. Back to the list. Number 8. Here's one that is technically not about spending. It is about a psychological bug that costs real money. The average American spends $219 a month on subscriptions across 8.2 active services, but estimates only 86 a 2.5 times perception gap. Let me say that one more time cleanly. The average American thinks they spend $86 a month on subscriptions. They actually spend $219. The gap is $133 every single month. That is $1,596 a year that people are spending without consciously choosing to spend it. This is not about one bad subscription. This is about the architecture of subscription billing small amounts, auto-renew, buried in a bank statement, next to 7 other recurring charges. The industry has engineered this deliberately. An estimated 62% of companies plan to launch or convert at least one product into a subscription offering by 2026. The subscription model is objectively better for sellers and objectively harder for buyers to track. This is the leaky bucket at its most invisible. You do not notice $1.99 leaving your account. You do not notice $4.99. You notice $219 a month when you actually add it up, which most people never do. The fix is an annual subscription audit. Open your bank statement. List every recurring charge. For each one, answer 3 questions. Did I use this in the last 30 days? Would I pay for it again today, right now, with intention? Do I already have another service that covers the same thing? You will find money you forgot you were spending. I do this every January and I find something every time. Number 9, brand new tech at launch price. There's a pattern so predictable you could trade on it if you had the patience. A new phone, gaming console, or laptop launches. The enthusiast media writes breathless reviews. The line forms. The price is $400, $600, $800, $1,000. People camp outside. 6 months later, the same product is available refurbished for 60% of that price, with all the software bugs patched out by the people who beta tested it for free by paying launch price. If you are only pulling premium noise-canceling headphones out a few times a year for flights, the math starts to fall apart. Sub $150 noise-canceling options have gotten shockingly good. You are giving up a few creature comforts, but not hundreds of dollars worth of them. The version of this that costs the most money in the long run is the annual phone upgrade cycle. Smartphones typically get replaced every 2 to 3 years as consumers upgrade to new models. Extended warranties covering years 2 to 5 provide little value when you plan to replace devices well before the warranty expires. There is a whole economy built around the idea that the current thing you own is insufficient. The gap between your current phone and the new one is almost never the gap being advertised. They are selling you a feeling, and the feeling costs $900 every 2 years. Number 10 is one that has the highest snobbery tax attached to it. Name brand groceries. Name brand grocery items can be an unnecessarily expensive purchase in 2026. Store brands are comparable in quality to name brands, and you're probably not going to notice a difference in your baked goods and dinners. This one sounds basic. It is not basic. The psychology here is sophisticated. Brand names have spent decades buying emotional real estate in your brain through advertising. The store brand version of a product is often manufactured in the same facility, by the same supplier, with the same ingredients. The packaging is different. The marketing is different. The markup is entirely different. I am not telling you to buy the store brand of everything. I am telling you that if you did a blind taste test on cereal, painkillers, and baking staples, you would almost certainly not identify the brand. There are categories where quality differences are real. Olive oil, coffee, certain proteins. But the average grocery cart has a significant percentage of products where you are paying for a logo. Switching from name brand to store brand on the average grocery cart saves somewhere between 15 and 30% on those items. On a monthly grocery spend of $600, that is potentially $100 a month back in the bucket. Number 11. This is the one about a product designed to make you feel smart about your money while quietly being one of the worst uses of it. A traditional, actively managed financial advisor who charges 1% of assets under management. 1%. Sounds small. Let me make it feel the size it actually is. If you have $300,000 invested and your advisor charges 1% annually, that is $3,000 a year, fine, but that is not the actual cost. The actual cost is what that $3,000 would have compounded into over 20 years, 30 years. Over 30 years, a 1% annual fee on $200,000 costs you approximately $170,000 in lost compounding. That is not the fee. That is the opportunity cost of the fee. That is the whole. And here's the thing. The fee does not guarantee outperformance. In 2025, services that raise their prices include Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu, HBO Max, and NBC Universal's Peacock. Wrong quote, but here is the actual finding. The overwhelming body of research shows that over 20-year periods, low-cost index funds beat the majority of actively managed funds after fees. This is not controversial. It is the consensus. The reason people still pay 1% AUM fees is largely behavioral. They want someone to tell them it is going to be okay. That is a real service. It is just not worth $170,000 in compounding. Lazy investing built more fortune than crypto memes. Number 12, smart appliances with touchscreens and internet connectivity. A fridge with a touchscreen sounds cool right up until you realize you're basically checking the weather on your refrigerator. Most of these features feel impressive in a showroom and then go completely unused in everyday life. Meanwhile, they add a serious premium to already expensive appliances. The problem with a smart appliance is not the feature. The problem is what happens when that feature breaks. A regular fridge has a compressor problem, the compressor gets fixed. A smart fridge has a touchscreen that runs on a version of Android from 2021 that is no longer receiving software updates. And now your refrigerator is telling you it cannot connect to the cloud, and the screen is stuck loading, and you are standing in your kitchen at 11 p.m. holding warm milk, wondering how your refrigerator became part of the Internet of Things that annoy you. The premium you pay for smart features and appliances is real. The utility of those features over a 15-year appliance lifespan is speculative. The repairability is lower. The failure modes are more complex. This is a case where boring is optimal. Number 13. And I want to come back to something here that threads through the entire list. Print newspapers and magazine subscriptions. Not because reading is bad, because the financial model of print media in 2026 has produced a situation where you are paying premium prices for content that is either freely available online, delayed by 24 hours relative to digital, or both. The average American household in 2026 is paying for print newspaper subscriptions, averaging $60 to $100 a month, often as part of a bundle they signed up for to access one digital article and forgot to cancel. This connects directly back to item 8, the subscription architecture designed so that cancellation requires calling a phone number during business hours and navigating 3 menus. A quick story about a person I know, and this is about a real dynamic, not a specific person. In 2022, this person cut cable, felt righteous, then signed up for Netflix, then Hulu because of a specific show, then HBO Max because Game of Thrones was coming back, then Peacock for the Olympics, then Paramount Plus for Yellowstone, then Disney Plus because his kid wanted to watch something for 20 minutes on Thanksgiving. By 2025, he was paying $112 a month for streaming services, more than his cable bill ever was. When I told him, he did not believe me. He had to pull up his bank statement. He sat there for about 30 seconds, just staring at it. That 30 seconds of realization is what this entire list is about. You are not bad with money. The systems you are interacting with are designed to be invisible. Every item on this list, the gym, the extended warranty, the cable replacement that became cable, the timeshare, the new car, the delivery markup, the premium gas for the wrong engine, the smart fridge, the launch price tech, the grocery brand premium, the advisor's fee. Every one of these is a hole that exists because someone engineered it to be hard to notice. The leaky bucket does not drain all at once. It drains one subscription, one checkout screen, one sales presentation at a time. Now let me give you the 3 practical takeaways from this list that are specific enough to actually be useful. First, run the subscription audit right now. Not this weekend, now. Open your bank statement. Every recurring charge, identify it. Confirm you used it in the last 30 days and ask whether you would resubscribe consciously today. The average American spends $219 a month on subscriptions, but estimates only $86. The gap between what you think you spend and what you actually spend is where the first immediate money lives. Second, the next time you're at a retail checkout and someone tries to sell you a protection plan, say no, and then go home and call your credit card company to find out if they already extend warranties on major purchases. Many cards do this automatically for up to 1 year. Less than 20 cents of every dollar spent on extended warranties gets paid out in claims. The odds are mathematically against you. Let the casino take that loss instead. Third, on your next car purchase, if you are within 12 to 18 months of buying, look at certified pre-owned vehicles that are 2 to 3 years old. A 2 to 3 year old vehicle has already absorbed 30 to 40% depreciation, but typically still has remaining warranty coverage and years of reliable service ahead. You get most of the new car experience and skip the steepest part of the depreciation curve. On a $50,000 vehicle, you are avoiding somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 in first-year losses. That is not a small number. That is a year of contributions to a retirement account. Lazy investing built more fortune than crypto memes. And here is the final observation I will leave you with. Every single item on this list has a version of the same underlying mechanism, a gap between what you perceive you are getting and what you are actually getting. Gym membership versus actual gym usage, extended warranty versus actual claims paid, cable versus streaming stack that costs the same, brand new car versus 2-year-old car with 80% of the experience, premium gas versus zero measurable performance difference. The people who compound wealth over time are not necessarily smarter. They are just better at closing those gaps. They do not get impressed by showrooms. They do not feel the sunk cost of a timeshare as deeply as the math should tell them to. They run the numbers before they run the emotion. That is the whole game.